it, but I knew that it wasn't done the right way, because if it was being done the right way, we wouldn't have a plastic problem. So my intention from the beginning was I need to get this implemented into the world the right way, and that was not going to work. Way too inefficient. So I thought to myself, what's a better, more efficient way to cook things, right? What do you guys think? Like, what's a really efficient way, energy efficient way that we use on a daily basis to cook things? Because I was just walking around my kitchen one night, looking around. What do you guys say? Give it a guess. A microwave. There you go. That was okay. You made that easy. But I was already looking at the air fryer and stuff. Obviously, an air fryer couldn't work because we can't have air in the process, right? Pyrolysis, right? Pyrolysis is pyro and lysis. Pyro in Greek means heat, lysis means to break apart. You're breaking apart something with heat, not with oxygen. A fire is an oxidative reaction. You're really breaking apart something with oxygen. So anyway, next slide, please. We built Mark 1. Now, Mark 1 was the first microwave pyrolysis reactor. Now it's starting to look a little bit different, right? Now this machine, notice it's not on a propane burner. It had what's called a magnetron on the other side of the machine, where microwaves would enter the chamber and they would heat up the plastic. Now, just for instance, my last machine, the last few machines that were on the propane burners, right? It would take hours before, from heating it up, before you start seeing vapors come over, the crude oil vapors, because it takes so long to heat up. Like, it would take probably about, that's the last small machine, like, go back. This machine here probably took about 2.5 hours before you even see a hint of vapors coming over. Vapors mean fuel's being made, because those vapors cool down to make the fuel. Go back to the next slide. I want you guys to guess, when I implement the microwave technology, how long it would take from when I turned it on before when I see vapors. Mind you, the last machine took 2.5 hours, all right? So take a good guess. 20 minutes? Shorter. 5 minutes less. What? 3 less.
Damn.
Yeah, who said it? I heard it. Instantly. The minute you turn on the microwaves, you get vapors, because the minute you turn on the microwaves, the plastic breaks down. Why? Because microwaves heat up through what is called volumetric heating. That means heating from the inside out. The microwaves focus on the plastic, exactly what we want heated. They ignore the metal and break it down right away. That is way more efficient, way faster, and what the world needs. So then I built this, but I made it like a square, because every microwave I ever seen was a rectangle. But and now at this point, I'm implementing radio engineering, right? I'm implementing microwave engineering, and I'm just doing the best I can. There's no guides for this anymore online. No more videos of like Indians and Pakistani people with sandals welding these anymore. At this point, I'm kind of on my own, and so I had to go with what I had. But I learned in doing this that when you build a pressure vessel as a square, it will always leak. That's why tires are circular, propane tanks are circular, tanker trucks are circular. So I need to build another machine that won't leak presentation. Around the corners. Go to the next slide. And so I built Mark 2. Mark 2 was a microwave pyrolysis reactor that was circular. So now you see that box at the top, that's called a waveguide. Behind that waveguide is a magnetron. There's a fan on top of it that cools the magnetron. That's basically a barrel for the microwaves. So the microwaves shoot into the waveguide and shoot down into the machine. Plastic was inside. These pipes would channel the vapors. So Mark 2, I started to post online at this point. Mind you, I went almost a year and a half, almost 2 years before I ever posted anything online. I was just working in the shadows on my own. That was very important for the character and internal development that it took to do this, because I need to learn that this mission was something that I was going to do with or without the praise of the world, because it needs to be done with or without the praise of the world, right? So anyway, built Mark 2, started posting on TikTok. The first video that I posted about this got 1 million views. People were super interested, and it helped me, I started to get tips from people on how I could improve it. And I realized that this machine had a big issue. Your microwave oven has something inside of it. You put food inside your microwave, and what does it do? Does it just sit there? It spins. You need agitation, because otherwise it's going to cook unevenly. So this machine would break down the plastic faster, yes. But even after hours of being on, I'd open it up, and there'd be some parts of plastic that were like processed into pure carbon, which is the final byproduct on the inside, and then also the complete untouched cold lumps of plastic. So I said, I need a stirrer in there. I need a blade in there. So go to the next slide. I then built the next machine, Mark 3. And Mark 3 was a bigger machine for one. 55-gallon drum again, which was a mistake, you'll figure out why. Yeah. And I had more magnetrons, all right? You see, I had 4 magnetrons on this thing, a lot of power. Every magnetron, every time you see one of these blocks like that, That means that's a waveguide and a magnetron, which is the equivalent to one microwave oven each. So this thing altogether had enough power. Actually, this had 5 on it. This was the equivalent of turning on 5 microwaves at once. And then it was horizontal. This next slide, on the inside of this thing, we had shafts, auger blades. I make by hand. I take sheets of metal, cut it with a plasma cutter or an angle grinder, make circular discs, weld those discs together, stretch it out. I literally have videos of me doing it. Make these auger blades that would go on the inside of the machine. Well, that machine Mark III, go back, the 55-gallon drum. 2 things would happen to it that were bad. For one, with all of that power, the first time I ever turned it on, it blew up. Because it's really thin metal. So the lid really just shot off like a cannon, and then that was it with this machine. There was nothing else I could do at that point because the metal was just too thin. So then that made me say, okay, now I need to build another version of this, because the concept was right, but I need to do it better. So I built another one with thicker metal, go forward 2 slides, and it was called Mark IV. Now Mark IV, things are starting to look pretty good now. Things are starting to look a little bit sexier now, everything, right? Not like a 55-gallon drum. This was made of 2 propane tanks welded together and insulated it. I got better, pipes were coming off of it. I added my motor to spin the shaft with auger blades, electronics box, all of that. I started to make some real fuel output of all this. And now I really started to really well document all this on my YouTube channel at this point. Like, this machine was very well documented. The construction of it, the operation of it, the fuel it would make, it would do really well. And I had 3 operating magnetrons on this instead of 5. So this was the equivalent of turning on 3 microwave ovens. But here's the issue. You see this big box like here that says danger, high voltage? Well, here's the catch. Up to this point, I was building all these machines with microwave oven parts from microwaves from scrap yards. I would literally go to scrap yards, find microwaves, take them apart, take the parts out, and throw them on my machines. The difficulty is this. Your microwave oven operates at most for probably 15 minutes, right? I run these machines for like 6 hours. The electronics are not made for that. So one day, mind you, I was creeping these machines closer and closer to my parents' house. We started all the way out in Alabama, and then we ended up on my dad's trailer, and this one was literally under our patio in a greenhouse. Alright? So, anyway, with that being said, one day I had the machine running, typical operation. Welcome in, guys. And guess what happened? Go to the next slide. This is what happened. Yep. A fire started in my greenhouse in the middle of me running my reactor. Now, this fire was not from the reactor. It's still intact. Everything else, I don't know how this fire started. I do not know, but it started and it destroyed everything. You see how close it was to the house? Equipment, look at that stuff. Like, this is absolutely. Look at that. Literally, the window got almost got burnt up. Yeah. Look at this. Like, I had a whole barrel full of plastic right there. Yeah. Just kind of completely burned down. This thing is still on fire. Like, oh. Yeah, so I literally had, actually, I wonder if that video shows you. I literally had, like, the fire marshal come out. Because I had to put it on the fire. I couldn't put it out myself. Because it was an oil fire that just kept burning. Let me see if we have, oh, yes, right here. Yeah.
I didn't think it was on fire, but.
Yeah, so I had to have the firefighters come out legit.
Or what was truly the cause of this?
And I didn't know in the moment what the cause was. People online, like, I was posting on TikTok, everybody online was convinced that it was lasers. What's up? Yo. What's good? Thanks for making it in. Yeah, of course, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate it, guys. I love the energy. Yeah, so anyway, it was the electronics box. Because I had the microwave power supply submerged in oil, and the oil caught on fire, and it wouldn't stop burning. So anyway, the fire marshal came out, and I was terrified. We're doing this in an HOA neighborhood. I'm 18, and then I know I'm not supposed to be doing this. So when the fire chief came up to me, he looked around at the whole backyard. I told you I'm a gardener, right? He looked at it was in a greenhouse, and he looked at the machine, and he said, is this some type of like plants incubator thing? And I said, yes, sir. That was it. Because I was terrified I was about to go to jail. Because I'm like, oh no, he thinks I'm making a meth lab or something. I don't know what. I can't I'm making fuel or meth. Either one of those things probably is not legal to make in your backyard. So anyway, that's what happened with that machine. We had to move on to another machine. After that, it was a really rough situation actually because I had just graduated high school and I took a gap year. I was 18 at this time. I started school a year early. So I was in a gap year and I told my parents I really want to work on these machines, And they always just barely let me do it. Until I almost burned down that house. At that point, they're like, nope, you're not building another machine. You're not operating another machine. You better go to college or get a job and move out, but you're not going to do this anymore. And I'm like, all right, fine. So at that point, a university wanted to actually, because I was posting all this online, a university wanted to enroll me, and I actually went. But it turned out in the fine print of the paperwork, they basically said, hey, if any research you do in our lab is ours. So then I dropped out and said, no, I ain't doing that, mate. If you want me to take 2 years of class, and then 2 years more of class, and then 4 years of grad school just for you to take my research, it's not going to happen. So I dropped out, and then now I was in this position where it's like, okay, my parents don't really building it in my backyard, but I don't have funding, so I don't have a lab to do it in. I'm not in university. What am I going to do? So I told my parents, I said, like, you know, let's have a deal. How about this, right? I have a proposition, all right? Let me build my next machine. We're going to get a lot of attention from it online. I'm going to make it like a really big machine. I'm going to build it in the backyard, and I will never turn it on. And the hope is that in building this really big, grand machine, I will get the attention and donations or investment or something, and we can move forward. And they said, all right, fine, deal. You build the machine, don't turn it on. So then next slide, you can hit the arrow at the bottom. Or else it's just going to, down here, just that. Yeah. There we go. So I built this machine. Let me get this full screen again. Alright, well, there we go. Alright, well, it's fine. Anyway, I built this next machine called Mark 4.5. The reason why I didn't call this machine Mark 5 is because I always promised everybody that my machine, Mark 5, would be the first non-ghetto machine, meaning it wasn't built by hand in ways. But this machine was still built by hand. As a matter of fact, it was built out of 3 100-pound propane tanks that I welded together. I had a total of 9 magnetrons on this thing. The equivalent of turning on 9 microwaves at once. Thick metal, properly sealed, properly vacuum tight welded. You know, I was really starting to get good with these machines. And this machine, it put out some power, you know? And here's the thing. Look at this machine. I want you guys to look at it, and you know, I want you to put yourself in my shoes, put yourself in my moccasins, okay? If you built this grand machine in your backyard, you know, and you live streamed the whole thing, could you like not turn it on? You know, like could you just look at it and not operate it? Like that was my perspective, you know? You guys probably do the same. So anyway, even though my parents said don't turn it on, I did turn it on. And one day we were live streaming, and then you can go next. We were live streaming this machine, and then this happened to do it. What happens if you get in a car crash that wasn't an accident? Okay? Too many people know that. You got, look, and plus, on top of that, let's be real, if something happened to me, you know it'll be a martyr. You know it'll be a martyr situation. We already got people now building these reactors. So if something happened to me, it'd go crazy, right? So that right there was just a little cute little warm up. So what is the composite? So we had that situation happen, and that was just a depressurization of the machine. I had a gasket go out. But when that happened then, I was like, oh no, did my parents hear that? Because I wasn't supposed to be running the machine at the time. But anyway, one day, decomposite. This machine is broken up into 2 parts. We turn the plastic into crude oil, and we turn the crude oil into gasoline using jet fuel, right? So this machine works great. They made a lot of crude oil. One day I wanted to make my gasoline, or my plastoline as we call it. And so now I was refining the crude oil into gasoline. And that's part, the refining part is more dangerous than turning the plastic into crude oil. Because crude oil isn't all that flammable. But you know what it is? Gasoline. And when you want to refine crude oil into gasoline, you have to basically boil gasoline right in front of your face. So that's a different chamber. Next slide. So one day I was doing that refining process, and you can start. So I have to move. And just watch. Just imitate it itself.
But whenever this liquid is, well, we will lose some, but we don't need to lose that much.
You guys may want to record this, FYI. what I was wearing. What the hell? What's wrong with these people, man? Damn. Dang. Overclock. That supervisor blew himself up. Yeah. Yep. So that was the first like explosion that happened. That was a mushroom cloud explosion, FYI. Point blank. All right. Pause it. Next slide. So I got burnt. Like I have a saying. Look at my legs. You see my legs like that? Even now, I still got the scar. You see my foot right there? So I have a saying. I blew myself up so bad, I blew my black ass white. Because I got right on my foot now.
What the hell?
But it was bad. Like my foot swelled up until they scrub up all the burnt skin. I couldn't walk for a month in crutches. It was rough. Matter of fact, the day it happened, on the way to the hospital, I passed out. And then in the hospital, this is some footage from the hospital that day after the explosion. My dad was in there kind of.
Damn.
Sit down. Look at it. Yeah, don't do crap. Oh, I was gonna get you barbecue for us. I guess not.
I got barbecue.
Yeah. Stop all that shaking, bro.
It hurts, man. It burned. It feels like I'm getting cooked. Hey,
Wow.
piece of Negro right here. Boy, it's not good. I'm getting cooked alive. I'm some damn invisible fire. The Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost is burning, bro. I can't even see the fire. I'm burning. But we're going to see. Yeah, so what happens when you get burns, especially like the same day you get burned, it feels like you're being burned continuously. Like I don't know if anybody here has ever been burned like that. Yeah, but like it doesn't stop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you get punched, it hurts the most in the moment, a little bit after it goes down. The burn just keeps building and building. And then you go to the hospital, they want you to pass out for the pain. They give you so many drugs. They had me on fentanyl, literally fentanyl. In the hospital, you get you on fentanyl, all this stuff. And then the pain keeps building up, and that's why I said like the Holy Ghost is burning me, because it feels like you got a fire on you, and there's no fire there anymore. Like it's crazy. You start hallucinating and everything. And so I've never been burned like that before, but I learned in that moment I don't want to be burned again. And you're not gonna catch me out there barefoot like Chaka Zulu, working on this machine in basketball shorts ever again.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I used to work on my machines in either basketball shorts and stuff like that, or a legit suit like this. Haven't done it since I wear my proper PPE now, which is great. But yeah, that's what happened there. I got burned like that, and it's fair to say after that, my parents, when I said, hey, can I like work on the machine some more? They said, hell no, get the hell out the back, y'all. You're not working on this thing anymore. So then I had to build the next machine. We're not building this machine, but rather continue that same machine. And so now it's something familiar, right, to what you guys see before. Mark 4.5. This is the same machine that blew me up. However, in a different spot now. You know where this was? This was in Alabama. The same Alabama property where I had to initially start. 4 hours away from where I lived in Douglasville, Georgia. 4 hours to and from every day. I would drive 4 hours to work 8 hours and drive back 4 hours. Because this machine was not in some city, or this was an isolated machine in the middle of nowhere, nothing but cows, mosquitoes, and gnats out there. And on top of that, I was not in a position where I could like afford a hotel every night. I could just drive back, or I could sleep in my minivan that I was driving, my Toyota Sienna. And so it was rough. I put over 100,000 miles on my vehicle over the year of building that, just back and forth, you know. And at this point, I was very public online with the machine, showing all of this. You know, you guys can see the construction of this on my Instagram, anywhere. But this machine did great. And you see it got huge. I did a few things to this machine here. For one, behind it was a field of solar panels. Microwaves operate off of electricity can be generated by solar panels. This machine became completely solar powered, for one. For two, I added this top chamber that you see there. That top chamber is called a continuous feed chamber. That means that I'm able to load plastic into the machine while it's running, because I have a double airlock vacuum seal system, the same type of technology they use in space shuttles, that allows plastic to be loaded into the machine without adding air or oxygen into the machine. Those two things were huge, and at that point actually made me inventor of the world's first solar microwave vacuum pyrolysis reactor. At that point, there had been nothing like that. A continuous solar microwave pyrolysis reactor had not been seen in the world before. And it was made right there in Alabama, right? I'll tell you something about Alabama. Sweet home Alabama, there's something about them insects out there, those mosquitoes and stuff. The mosquitoes got like cousins that are mothers and brothers or something, because that was great. It would be 100 degrees and mosquitoes were out. And I tell you guys, the mosquitoes were so bad out there, I literally created my own natural mosquito repellent because of how bad they were. Because I don't like off and all that. But like, think about it, it's 100 degrees. You don't want to be wearing long sleeves to protect yourself from mosquitoes. But I was getting torn up. So actually, I literally have some of my all-natural mosquito repellent at this table over here that I made. And then I make all-natural mosquito repellent, tick, flea repellent spray, and deodorant, and lotion over there too. But that was the backstory of why I made Zap Aroma, because I was here getting torn up alive, and I'm like, you know what? I'm making something for this. Because I don't like the chemicals, but dude, I'm not gonna get torn up by these dang like inbred mosquitoes. So anyway, going on to the next slide. I was out there in that super isolated spot. I got them shit around for solar, and then this happened one night out there.
This is the third time this spotlight on. It's so loud, like I can't even go to sleep.
Alright, so for those of you who have not seen my stories on Instagram, 2 nights ago I was sleeping in Alabama where I work with my reactor, and there was a helicopter that flew really low and had a spotlight at 10 o'clock at night. Flew over me, shined the spotlight right into my windshield, then flew away, came back, did it again, came back, did it again, came back, and did it again. It came 5 times, and this helicopter was flying so low I could feel the blades in my body. And I was recording it and posting it to my story, right? Letting everybody know what was going on. I was ready to leave. If I had done it 6 times, I would have been gone.
Let me tell you why this gets freaky. It starts to get scary now. Outside of how scary it is to have a helicopter show, 6 times in the middle of the country, where there's almost, like I've been there for a year, never seen a single helicopter out there. So to have a helicopter again at night, the spotlight is over me 5 times is already freaking me out. But many of you suggested I get flight radar 24. I'm a gold member. I got it, I listened, okay? Because if you go back in time, you can select categories and figure out what type of plane you're looking for, right? And if I wanted to do just helicopter, you can do all the filters. But then I can go back in time to see, I can go directly back to the dates and the time in which this happened. So right now, I have a filter for helicopters. Right now, as I'm filming this, these are every single helicopter that's flying in the world right now, everywhere. This app is pretty cool. And I gotta say, if you guys are watching Flight Radar, you can sponsor me, because I actually really like this. I can't show you guys my stories, you'll know my location if I do that. But here's the scary part. I went back in time. I went hours before the helicopter ever showed up, and just sat there looking at the screen, and guess what happens? No helicopter ever showed up on Flight 24. But I have it on video. There was a helicopter.
Yeah, so obviously I had a helicopter work on my work site, but it had its radar transponder off. It was flying at the tree line, which are 2 things that are extremely illegal. Just for the instance, Flight Radar 24 will literally show military jets flying, and military helicopters, police helicopters. So for a helicopter to not be on Flight Radar 24 and be flying at the tree line, middle of nowhere in Alabama, where there's only those dang time of inbred mosquitoes and cows and stuff, at like 10 a.m. at night or 10 o'clock at night, that was like a very intentional situation, obviously. And obviously it was, freaky. I shared it on my stories at the time. And so that, I did my own research, and the only type of agency that's allowed to do that is certain type of government agencies, that start with a C and end with an A, usually. Just saying, put the pieces together, because, police can't do that, the military usually can't even do that, so that was an operation. So that happened, and everybody was on edge. I was too. And then, something weirder even happened literally a few weeks after that. I woke up one day, and then my devices were like tapped, it seemed. Like, I would get these weird texts and stuff, and like for instance, just an example, random example. Let's say like you just called your mom, and you're like, hey mom, I'm gonna go to Walmart today to pick up some laundry detergent, right? Then imagine a few minutes later you get a text, maybe an hour or so later you get a text saying, hey, did you tell your mom you got that laundry detergent? You're like, huh? What is that? And then all of a sudden you're like, you're just scrolling on your phone. You're looking at, you had a note, you wrote down a note in your phone on the notes app, and you're like, all right, today I'm going to text my friend, that I made it back home. You get another text. Your friend gets a text saying, did Julian text you he made it back home? They get a text from a number that says 000, 000, 000. I kid you not. So then I made a video, and I said, guys, I don't know what's going on, but I think I'm hacked or something. So if you see any weird things, just keep your eyes out, guys. Just make sure that's I just got like a typical hack, like my account. I didn't know what was going on. I had an iPhone at the time. Next slide. So then, go back. You're already on the slide. Yeah. So yes, this is what happened. Then a few days after I made that post saying, look how weird things are going on, I woke up to my driver's license posted on my Instagram. Somebody was in my device, because my driver's license was a picture I had in my phone, and they got access to my pictures and my Instagram and uploaded it to my Instagram. And obviously I took it down. Then guess what? In a few hours it went back up. Then I took it down again, and they just kept it. It was like ping pong. And they got to the point where Meta said, if you post your driver's license again, we're going to ban your account. That's against our terms. And I'm like, I'm not posting that. I looked at my login history, and you know what Instagram said? You logged in from your location over and over again. Somebody had not only just hacked into my account, they hacked into my entire phone to the point where they were fooling me. And I remembered, I'm like, wait a minute. I've been on the phone with Apple support before, and I remember seeing Apple support, like, they're able to control my phone remotely. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. My phone was getting reset. I turned on airplane mode. Airplane mode will turn itself off. I turn on airplane mode, turn the phone off, throw it in the Faraday box, put it in the ammo can, close it, turn the phone, then I can turn the phone back on, the airplane mode was off. My air tags everywhere were beeping, going off as if I was making it go off sound. Nothing, I wasn't doing any of that. My iPhone was completely compromised. And by the way, if you have an iPhone, I do have a tip that can help you, maybe, I don't know if they fix this bug or not. But anyway, if you have an iPhone, you go into settings, right? And in settings, you can go into advanced or iCloud, and then advanced. And then there's something called advanced data protection. And by default, on every iPhone, it's turned off. And essentially, that allows somebody to access your iPhone from a computer. And I think that's what happened to me. Somebody basically accessed my entire phone from a computer, control everything. And we know it's possible because Apple support can do it. If you ever get on the phone with them, you'll see them before your eyes moving your phone, looking at everything. It's a breach in their system, and it happened to me. And some hackers got in, they posted my driver's license, posted my address, posted the reactive location, everything online. And then at that point, I was done posting. I was in post-route mode. Think about it. If somebody has all this access to you, you don't know if they're coming to kill you or sending people after you. You don't know what. So I was completely silent. It was just like survival for me and my family. We didn't post anything. And so everybody thought I was kidnapped. Remember when I was missing last year? That's what was happening. This intense cyber attack, which was a nation-state level attack. Right? Not just from some individual, but this is from a legit agency of some sort, of some group of people with a lot of money because they logged into my account. Access to millions of people watching my page. They didn't ask for $1. I'm not trying to run some crypto scam. All they did was post things to try to discourage me and break my spirit, right? And at some point I noticed that was the play, and I realized, okay, fine. If that's what you're trying to do, you're trying to stop me from doing my work, you're trying to make me give up, then I'm going to do the opposite. So after about a month of fighting and literally replacing every device in my life, everything, they got in my computer. Like one time I was in a group chat with Facebook supports. Right? Because I had a friend who was in Facebook supports. And I was texting him on WhatsApp on my computer. And then he got a text saying, stop helping Julie. So then we knew my computer was tapped at that point. So then I got rid of my computer, got rid of the iPhones. Like I still have all those iPhones in this day turned off in a safe. Welcome guys. And hey, you got the Miami shirt. Yes sir, I see you. Good to see you again. And so yeah, like that was crazy. But after a month of getting all my devices clear and making sure me and my family were safe and secure, I went back out to my build site because I promised everybody I'm always working and always building, and I worked harder than ever. And and I made more fuel than I ever did. And I took that fuel, go next, I took my plastiline, the gasoline that I made from plastic, and I put it inside of a Hellcat in Atlanta, October 4th, right, 2025. Then, took that same plastiline, came right here to Miami, baby, last November. You got the shirt, BMW S1K. We put the fuel in there, proving it works. We had pure blue flames come out the exhaust. Thing ran better than it ran off of gasoline from the pump. And then, in March of this year, we did this.
A first-of-its-kind test happened today as a luxury car ran on fuel made from plastic waste. The experimental fuel called plastiline is now being put to the test in a Rolls-Royce, making a major step for the project. Plastiline is a 110-octane fuel alternative made from discarded plastics like bottles and containers. Using microwave pyrolysis, the material is heated in a sealed, oxygen-free environment, turned into crude oil, and refined into a clean-burning fuel. This process turns everyday plastic, like bottles and containers, into a liquid fuel by heating it in a sealed machine. The idea of turning plastic into fuel isn't new, but Julian Brown, the creator of Plastiline, is trying to make it smaller, mobile, and more accessible. Today, that fuel powered a Rolls-Royce, and Brown said this could be the future of sustainability.
The solution is within us if we hold the power to change this world.
The fuel is made in a closed chamber with no air inside. So instead of burning, the plastic melts down and turns back into an oil.
The plastic breaks down into its basic chemical constituents. So plastic is made of crude oil, and it gets returned into crude oil, and it turns into the crude oil vapor. And that vapor can then condense into crude oil again, and that crude oil can then be refined into gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, just like we do in our current refineries we have now.
Brown says about 10 pounds of plastic can make 1 gallon of fuel. And because there's no ethanol, it doesn't absorb water and can last longer than regular gas. Jabbar Westbrook, the owner of the Rolls-Royce used in the demonstration, says he never doubted the efficacy of the fuel.
I believe in him. You know, I've seen what he's done. It just made sense what he was saying. And I wanted to be a part of history. I believe it's going to work. I ain't nervous at all.
The next step is the Mark V, a mobile solar-powered machine that will use more than 20 solar panels to continuously turn plastic into fuel more efficiently.
Whether it's in every house or not,
Thank you. That's right, baby. We ran a Rolls Royce in March. And guess what? Guess what I did? So like all those vehicles you saw, the Scat Pack was over $100,000, the BMW S1K motorcycle over $100,000, that Rolls Royce was over $250,000. You know what I told all these owners? I said, listen, if my fuel destroys your vehicle, you know I got you. Like I'm gonna, recover your vehicle, insure it. Knowing damn well I couldn't afford that. We walked by nothing but faith. I knew that the fuel was gonna work because hey, if I had any hesitance, there's nobody that would ever allow me to put my fuel in their vehicle. So at this point, we put the plastiline in literally, everyday consumer cars all the way up to a Rolls Royce. And now that brings us to where we are to this day and why I'm right here in Miami, because I built the last machine, Mark 4.5, the world's first, solar-powered, continuous microwave pyrolysis reactor, and that machine was good. But remember, it was 4.5, why? Because it was still 0.5% ghetto. And it was time to build the proper machine, which is Mark V, the first machine that's going to be professionally fabricated. And that's what this machine is here. And not only am I making it professionally fabricated, but I'm solving the problem of this secret workspace that helicopters want to fly over and all this nonsense. Because guess what? There is no workspace. It's everywhere. It's mobile. It's on a trailer. And it's pulled by this bus. So here's how the project works. It's broken up into 2 points. Go to the next slide. Project is broken up into 2 different points. We have the trailer itself, which this trailer is going to be the world's first solar trailer, which is a trailer that is made up. It's not an enclosed trailer. It literally is enclosed by solar panels. 8 550-watt solar panels on each side. The sides can click out with hydraulics that articulate to catch the sun, right? That trailer alone is going to bring in over 14,000 watts of solar energy. What does that mean? That's enough solar to power 3 homes at once. Type solar right there. And that's mobile being pulled by this bus. And this bus is what we've been working on, the actual bus, which is my living quarters now. All right, when my lease to my rent ended, I didn't renew it. I'm homeless right now, technically. I mean, literally. I'm nomadic. So now this bus we converted into living quarters. Next slide. Just a reference. This ain't some, graphic. This is reality. This is the trailer. We're building it right now in Woodstock, Georgia. Volunteer effort. I literally am allowing my own supporters to come out from wherever to build it. This is how the trailer's looking. Next slide. A drone shot from the top. Reality, baby, right here. Next slide. Yep, you see just for the reference of size, huge trailer, 30 foot long, 12 and a half foot tall. Next slide. And this was the bus. When we first got this bus, we did this complete conversion. Look at the scale of this ragged bus. 1999, all right? It was donated to me by Joe Fellows. Next, this is where the bus is looking at now. This bus is right down the road in Live Colors, Miami. Right now, next slide. That's the final wrap. It's getting wrapped right now, guys. I took that picture today. That's why I'm right here in Miami, because Live Colors said, "What's up, Chris, my man? Good to see you." Hey, he got the shirt on too. That's right. Hey, but guys, this is reality. It's happening right before your eyes. As I've always said and done, the number one thing we can do is be a doer. And so I showed you the mock-up. I told you Mark 5 is happening. It literally is being built in your city right now. It's contributing by, go next slide. Only in day, Live Colors, right here in Miami, baby. Estamos aquí. Para el mundo. Desde mi corazón y mi alma. Vamos! And it's happening. It's a Mark 5 is real. And guess what? I'm here now with the wrap. Unfortunately, I got to leave the city pretty soon and go up to Destin within either tomorrow or the day after. But next time I'm in Miami, I'm going to have the trailer with me. Next time I'm in Miami, we're going to do like public beach cleanups, gather all the plastic, throw it in, make gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel right there, and fuel somebody's car. Somebody's going to leave with a full tank. Next time I'm in Miami, we're going to do events where, hey, you bring me all your plastic, because we need 10,000 gallons. We need like 300, 400 pounds, 500 pounds of plastic. Full Sunday, we just stand there out all day, making fuel, filling up tanks. With fuel that we have proven works, fuel that we have proven burns clearer than fuel from the pump, and that's how we do it. So, I present you the Mark 5, plastic, fuel reactor. And thank you, Miami, for having me, as always, for the second time, because I was here last time in November, and having me again and supporting me as such a strong community. I appreciate all you guys. I love you, all you guys. And I love Miami and South Florida so much. We've been building the bus and the trailer for the past 7 months up in Georgia. Another thing I just did recently, guys, I am now a Class A hazmat endorsed CDL driver. I just passed the school. Right before
Let's go.
I failed the test 2 times. I passed it on my third. Now let's go. So, yeah. But anyway, with that being said, now I'd like to open the floor to a brief Q&A for you guys. Because, you see the journey, you've seen the mission. And I will remind you guys that I do also have my all natural John Bruno products on the table over there. That's a great way to support. I also have posters that I'll sign. We'll take pictures over there after. Stickers, bracelets, all that type of thing is over there. My natural deodorant lotion. That's my other business. I started last year. We started in my apartment. Then I moved into my rental house, and then we got reported for a business in the rental house, so we got kicked out the garage, and then we ended up moving into a warehouse. And, now it's a family-owned business. My brother and my mom make all these products by hand, 100% natural. Nothing has more than 5 ingredients. That's how we roll. So anyway, you can support me there, but I want to just, appreciate all of you for your time, for your attention, for having me again. I'm so grateful for all of you. And yeah, let's go to Q&A. Give us some questions. Raise your hand. Can you mix gasoline with regular gasoline in the car? Yes, you can. So the fuel that I make from plastic, whether that's the gasoline, the diesel, or jet fuel, can be mixed with the traditional fuels, and we're going to figure out all the statistics on it, but in theory, it should actually operate better, because just for reference, this right here, which is my plastic diesel made from plastic waste, has been proven by ASAP Labs in Vancouver, Washington, to make less black smoke than diesel from the pump, to burn cleaner than diesel from the pump, and have a higher C10 index than diesel from the pump. Matter of fact, people are always interested. They're like, how does this stuff smell? Now, not everybody is familiar with the smell of diesel, but you guys want to smell this? No. I can pass.
Let him test it.
Around. So, how you're supposed to actually properly smell a chemical substance is not by just, putting your nose on it and not distort it, but you want to go more like, wave it towards yourself, yeah? There you go. You can. Just give it as a next person. Yep.
It smells like gas.
It smells like gas.
Good, good.
Hey, yeah, let everybody see how it smells. It's a unique thing, yes, sir.
In the future, do you ever think of opening your own gas station?
Do I think of opening my own gas station? That's not really my intention, to be honest, because my goal is to get rid of plastic waste. And I make fuel, it's a great byproduct, but the truth is, the goal that we need to do is to get rid of plastic waste in this world, and I just kind of see it as, we'll allow whoever, gets these, my goal is, I want to sell these mobile trailer machines all over the world, I want them everywhere. And whoever has these machines, we let them decide what they want to do with the fuel. If they want to sell it, they want to do it. But regulation-wise, it's such a fight to get into selling your own fuel, and every country is different, every county is different. I would spend all my energy trying to be at a gas station to make money, and we don't need to make profit, we need to make a livable planet for everybody more than anything. So that's my goal, get these machines out everywhere as soon as possible, as fast as possible, and all that will come naturally later. That's a byproduct.
I got a question. Well, actually, two questions in one. So if somebody wanted to buy plastiline from you, could they purchase it? And if they brought you a bunch of plastic, would you make gas for them?
So if you want to purchase plastiline from me, legally, no, I cannot sell you plastiline because it's not taxed. It's kind of like selling moonshine. Yep. Now, that does not mean that we can't do a little barter if you just happen to buy 30 t-shirts for, a jar of plastiline or something. When it comes to people bringing plastic, when I build the next machine, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to do shows like this, and I'm going to tell you guys, bring me your plastic, and we're going to pick somebody or a few people in the crowd. Has everybody smelled the plastic diesel? Anybody else want to smell it? Right here, you see. There we go. Thank you so much, man. And so that's how we'll do it, where you can bring me your plastic, we'll pick a few people out, and they'll get their tanks full, based on, I guess we do a loading process or something.
Have you looked into other forms of plastic, for instance, the soybean, convert that over into a plastic as another alternative?
Yeah, so there's such thing as bioplastics. You can make plastic from other things outside of petroleum. They typically don't work as well or last as long, so their applications can be limited. For a lot of single-use plastics, that's great, but for the plastic that's holding your, the intake to your car, you don't want that made of soybeans because rats and stuff eat it. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, there's an inevitability where plastic is a miracle product, and we need some types of plastic in some parts and positions of our life. And so the best thing we can do is create a method to deal with the plastic instead of trying to fight the plastic itself. Because the truth is, whether you want to admit it or not, if plastic disappeared out of this world, we would all be suffering right now. It's a great product. We just were irresponsible with the implementation of it. And frankly, I don't even want to say we're irresponsible. The system was irresponsible. Because I promise you, if we all had it our way, we would have never let the oceans be this way. Most of the ocean plastic really from big barges and just dump it off. What do you think the Navy does with all their plastic waste? Just dump it off. So my next machine is going to be called Mark C. And this is going to be on a boat. It's going to go out to the ocean. It's just going to eat the plastic and make fuel. And it's going to be autonomous. So literally just stay out there running off of their own plastic so all the plastic is gone. It's the next machine. You got a question?
Yeah, so how can we help?
So how can you help? Well, I'm grateful to say that I'm starting to really, now for the first time after 5 years doing this, really implement bringing people on to help. There was a time where I really operated really paranoid, like when I was on that property, I didn't want people to know where it was. Yeah. I learned nowadays there's no such thing as privacy. The best thing we have is community. So I allow people to help, Like just for instance, where do you go? I don't know where Q went. Oh, right there, yeah, Q. He literally is a part of the Mark V crew. He's from Georgia. He drove down here with me to help make sure I got it sent to Miami. And he literally has helped build that bus and that trailer you saw, right? We're over here, this is Allie. She was out there helping us get the bus prepared for the wrap, So give her a little applause to them, My man Chris right here, with the shirt on. Chris has made sure I have been safe every time I've been out here in Miami. He's been a real one, just making sure I move around in a way that I get place to place safe. So it's like community is real. And so, there's going to be way more and more ways people can help as we get closer and closer. But outside of that, I'm going to say the most direct way that everybody can help. I'm going to go to the next slide. Well, there's a few that are most direct ways right now that anybody can help truly. We do have this right here, which is my nonprofit. You can donate directly, or you can also get the Job Warmer products. Those 10% of those profits go to the machine. But also, you can be a volunteer and come up to Woodstock. We're out to actually move build sites to Alabama and help. But also, watching my videos, sharing, liking, that helps so much more than you can think. Because guess what? This next machine, Mark V, we have over 25 different sponsors that made that build a thing. And the only reason I got sponsored is because any brand sees me and says, clearly, if we align with him, we're going to get a ton of attention.
Yeah.
So by you guys watching my videos, share my videos, it does more than you can think. Every single solar panel you saw on that trailer, all 24, that's almost $10,000 worth of solar panels, right? Those were sponsored because Santan Solar saw the reach that you guys give me by watching and sharing, and they said, we want to align ourselves with that mission, and obviously, we want that marketing, we want that customer base too, baby. Yeah. So thank you all so much for all your support. Being here in person, you're helping so much. Like seriously, you empower me because all of you took time out of your day to come here. You drove with that $7 a gallon gas to make it here. So like, I just want to give all of you, give yourself a round of applause. Like seriously. Hey, Norman, go get your painting, by the way, because I want to give a shout out to Norman too. Because speaking of support, he literally did a painting of me when he heard I was coming to Miami. Yeah. And then, it's crazy. You guys may have seen it right back behind the Japaroma table. Yeah, look at this right here, man. So, you guys already do so much to support me, and so I appreciate it. I'm so grateful for everyone.